The Morgan Report with David Morgan. Discover how to build and protect your wealth at themorganreport.com.
David Morgan of themorganreport.com for the week ending 29 December 2023. Well, obviously the last weekly perspective for the year 2023. I'm going to start off this week with something I do. Usually I try to do it on a quarterly basis. Since this is year end, I just want to go through these numbers. Again, this is from Bob Johnson, Gold Sheet Mail. It's free. Thank you, Bob. I always try to thank him. He does a great service to all of us that are in the commodities, especially in the precious metals, base metals, and the oil sector. So as you can see, almost everything in the base metals is off with a couple exceptions. So aluminum is basically flat off 1%, cobalt off almost 45%, copper's only up 1% for the year, lead off 13%, nickel off 46%, tin up 1.5%, and zinc was off almost 13%. So all the copper bulls that we heard, and I'm fairly bullish on copper, only up 1% for the year. If we move on down to the precious metals, you can see gold was up 13% for the year, which was good. Palladium fell quite a bit, which is, I had a bet on that, long platinum, short palladium. Palladium off 38%, platinum was off 7%, so that spread trade worked out really well. Silver about unchanged, it was off 0.8%. Started the year of 2022, the last trading day at 23.98 and closed on the 29th at 24.19, so obviously that's a lower number by 22 cents. So, and then the gold silver ratio was increased to 84, almost 85, where at the beginning of the year last year, or at the end of the year, I should say, it was 76. Not much on the HUI. I mean, we got gold up 13%. Usually you get a move of about 2 or 3 to 1, but it's gold and silver. So 13%, take double, you'd be like at 25%. We're not. 6% on the HUI, only 4% on the XAU, and minus 2% on the US dollar. Stocks have not been keeping up with the metals themselves. That does happen. Individual stocks you can outperform on the index basis. It's pretty hard to do so unless you're in a bull market, which I believe we're entering here shortly, or probably just beginning. Crude is off 11%, heating oil off 22%. Natural gas, there's a bird I'd like to shoot. No, I'm joking. Natural gas is off 44%, gasoline off 15%. The index is there slightly positive, as you can see. Take a slight pause here. I just pulled this up. The end of democracy and the defeat of the American Revolution will occur when governments fall into the hands of lending institutions and moneyed corporations. Thomas Jefferson. Real quickly, for those that are on the email list, the free list over here, thank you. And once again, I just want to point out for everybody that, they don't know how many interviews we really do, and it's here in the blog tab. All you need to do is pull that down, and almost everything that we do that's in the public domain is posted there for your convenience. For a quick example, there are many, but I just got a question from a mastermind member talking about this interview here, which is with the market sniper, Bill Holter, and obviously myself. And he had some very good questions. But there's a lot here. And also there's shortcuts to the LinkedIn page, the Twitter page, and the YouTube channel. So all those are available. All I have to do is go to the blog tab, pull it down, and you can hunt with the search bar right here, type in what you want, and usually find it. So I am posting the first issue for 2024, the January issue. Will get posted probably tomorrow, Saturday the 30th. It's always due on the first Monday of every month. And talked about in this month's issue, being a newsletter junkie in my early investing career, myself and David Smith included. And I read everybody kind of after a while, just kind of sorted through who's who and what was up. I learned who kind of had the best view of the markets and the most to teach and the best investments, and went with them. Sort of sorted out. David actually stayed pretty true to buying almost everything out there pretty much his whole life. And of course, he left us September a year ago. Regardless, I went into like a forecast issue talking about the fact that globally more than 80%. Well, first of all, talking about the political scene, and nearly 80 countries with a combined population around 4 billion will hold national elections in 2024. Then I talked about goods and shipping, and that's mostly comes from China, and China owns a lot of ports, which is a bit of a concern. Suez Canal could be disruptive with the supply lines. Talked about that. Talked a lot about AI and what it will do for the financial markets and the physical economy. Um, Talked about why my belief in AI is not as strong as others. I don't think it could ever become conscious. And I gave a proof of that using the $1 trillion bet as an example. Talked a lot about blockchain and how it's going to integrate further into the financial sector, but maybe not in the same viewpoint that many others that are more pro anything crypto, whereas I'm more discerning on the fact that a lot of this crypto, in my studied view, is just an electronic platform for a fiat system, whereas something that has backing or real service is obviously more valuable than something that's just cooked up out of hot air. Now, if they're limited, then obviously you can make an argument that that in itself is a limited supply, and that may hold more credence with some people than others. Talked about the banking system, and I continue to see problems ahead. Talked about a movie that I watched called The Bank of Dave. It was a fairly light-hearted, based roughly on a true story. I'm going to ask some of my friends in the UK, see if they can get some more detailed information on that. Oh, talked about one of my big concerns I've talked about all year, and that is the cyber attack potential, especially if it hits a money center bank or a large brokerage firm or large transfer agent coming out of, say, London, New York, Zurich. Any of those places, could be Hong Kong. Could be very disruptive. Talked about virtual reality, augmented reality, how businesses were affected by the pandemic, and it's still followed through to this day. Talked again, repeat a little more about the cyber attack possibility. Then I talked about the markets in 2024. Went through them all briefly, just an overview. My forecast for gold was between 2250 and 2500. So 10% on $2,000 gold is 200. So that puts it at the 2250 level. It did 13% last year, I'll call it. So call it the end of 2023. So add on 3, so you're at another $60 or so. So that'd be 2400. So I think I'm right in line. I think it's going to pick up. I think it's going to heat up in the precious metals in 2024, but not overly exuberantly. But certainly there'll be more and more interest in the precious metals. Of course, that could be deterred, as I write, based on what happens with interest rate cuts, if they happen, which I believe that they will, but not to the level that some people are indicating. Quoted a couple well-knowns in the precious metal space and what their thoughts were. Oil, not that bullish on, because I still see a contracting economy globally, although as the OPEC plus nations continue to exert their ability to cut back production, and also with more and more BRICS uh, nations coming into BRICS and holding basically the lion's share of oil, they certainly have the ability to move the market one way or another based on production levels. Again, with the contracting economy, I think it'll be hard to push oil real high, but with an event, like a Strait of Hormuz or whatever, that would certainly move oil instantly. Talked about the interest rate cuts and what it'll do to the silver and gold markets. Did a table on that, percentages, give you a very good idea with this table of what to look for and what to expect. It's, best guess, but it could be, I think it's fairly accurate. It'll certainly be good guidance for you. And, what do we think about that? I won't give it for free. A lot of research on that. And then, of course, the tyranny of a tech takeover. Looking at the risk of the fourth industrial revolution, and went through a lot of that in detail. So it's a lot of looking ahead, not only in the financial markets, but also in the societal things. Our normal blockchain brief with the market overview, and also a lot about what the taxation situation will look like for those in the U.S. citizenry category. At BlackRock, Kathy Woods has done, what Gary Gensler has done, the regulatory landscape, what's Binance has done, a lot here. And then we talked a lot about the crypto scams and the situation that's gone on with the malware and scamming situation that's taken place pretty much from day one. Wrote an update on load, did a company update on one of our it's actually lower than a mid-tier, but it's in a jurisdiction that some people don't like, but they've got an add-on in North America. And some of these things are pretty amazing. I'm just going to read a few of them. Anyone that knows this sector will know what the heck I'm talking about. 4 meters at 17.45 grams per ton gold. 8.5 meters of 12.9 grams per ton gold. 7.9 meters of 15 grams per ton gold. Another area that they have 4.9 meters of 22.5 grams gold, 5 meters of 30 grams gold. That's almost an ounce of gold. We're looking at, that'd be like $1,800 an ounce, $1,800 a ton rock. That's pretty impressive. Another area, 14.3 meters of 10 grams per ton gold, 9 meters of 8 grams per ton gold. This is unknown by almost anyone that's not with the Morgan Report. And a lot of detailed analysis, sensitivity analysis at the end. And another section here, which is more of what you see specifically. This is another project within the same company. More of what you're used to hearing. I'll just read them off. Like a good one is 18 meters of 3 grams per ton gold. And then you get into what we typically see in a lot of properties this point in time. 9 meters of 1.14 grams, 38 meters of 1.23 grams, 60 meters of 0.89 grams. And if you have enough of this stuff, it is mineable, it can be profitable. But I really like grade is king, and what I read you before, and these other properties are pretty phenomenal, especially in this day and age. So I'm just scrolling down. This is a long, detailed evaluation of this upgraded company, and we drew our conclusions at the end. Also did an update on a major. We've had some new subscribers. I want them to pick the right majors. Talked about the portfolio. Talked about an ETF I like that's commodity based. Of course, took questions from our premium members and gave us some final thoughts. So that's it. I'll sign off here. This is David Morgan of themorganreport.com, signing off for 2023, and I'll be back with you next week with a new weekly perspective.
What if I told you that you could go broke in less than 24 hours? That's how long it took for the Dow Jones Industrial Average to plunge by nearly 22%, losing investors billions overnight. The same happened to the FTX crypto exchange and Terra Luna stablecoin. Both crashed overnight, losing crypto investors billions. You need a strategy that will protect whatever amount of savings you have now. We are going to witness the greatest transfer of wealth that has ever occurred in recorded history, and you must understand the following. You can absolutely go broke in one day, We've been helping subscribers weather this economic mess for years. Now it's time for you to get the same insights. What really happens during a major collapse is that the wealth changes hands. You will actually benefit by looking ahead and knowing exactly how to build and preserve your wealth. Putting just 10% or 20% of your wealth into our approach could make all the difference in your financial security and peace of mind over the next few years. Discover the Morgan Report today. Visit our site at themorganreport.com.